Cicely, thanks for being here, and thank you so much for taking the time to do this video case study with me. To get the whole thing started, I just want to jump way back
Okay.
and take a moment, introduce yourself. I'd like you to talk about, you do so many things. I'd like you to talk about the core of what you do, the people you serve, and the transformation that you offer. And feel free to hit all of the different verticals that you work in, and really just give people a chance to get to know you.
Sure. So I'm Cicely Simpson. To Chris's point, I work in a couple of different verticals, but all with the same goal. So I'm on a mission to help you create the conversation that is going to change the trajectory of your career. And we do that with 5 simple strategies. And a question I get often, Chris, and you know this, is who's this for? Who needs career coaching? Well, I have people in my coaching program who are in their first jobs. There are people who have been in their jobs for a number of years and have not grown the way they thought. And then there are executives who say, hey, look, holy cow, I have this role now. What do I do with it? So they're creating the conversation about what they bring to the table. And that's the most important piece that's going to move their career forward. The other vertical I work in is I help companies, for-profit companies, nonprofits, others in Washington, D.C., create the conversation about what they bring to the table and how they serve their customers, their employees. Again, all with the same goal of moving the conversation forward in a way that's not currently happening. So I coach individuals on their career, but also help give companies in Washington, D.C., I represent them and coach them on how to make sure they're being heard as well. So it's an amazing blessing over the past years, Chris, since we met almost 14 months ago, that all this has evolved. And so I'm grateful to even do this interview to be able to sort of tell the story here.
Listen, I'm grateful that you're here and that we've been working together for 14 months. Something that I do want to ask you, because your programs they're so similar in what you do for individuals and for companies, and you use the same language of starting the conversation and coming to the table, but we didn't talk about the founding name of a lot of what you do, which is the C.H.A.I.R program. And it's such an inspiring story. I won't do it justice. Could you just take a minute and just talk about where C.H.A.I.R came from?
Absolutely. And you're right. The 5 strategies is one strategy, right? One for each letter of the word C.H.A.I.R. And so where that came from and really what gave rise to this idea of what you bring to the table, Shirley Chisholm, the first African-American congresswoman and one of, my role models I just really look up to, she had a famous quote: if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. And if you look at her life and the legacy she left, first African-American congresswoman, first woman to ever run for president, her point of view was, I'm not going to wait to be invited. I know what I have to offer, so I'm going to make my own way. And she truly created the conversation wherever she was, and is now famous for doing so. And so you're right. The 5 strategies that we use to create the conversation are born out of that quote, and it is one strategy, one for each letter of the word C.H.A.I.R.
And we don't want to give away the secrets.
We don't want to give away the secrets.
They're going to work with you on that. And we're going to make sure people know how to get a hold of you.
But you know what, Chris, you're right, though. Everyone who hears that quote, even people who see my videos and they see that quote and they sort of connect the dots of oh, we get it. They all write it down and talk about how powerful a quote that is, and how it's just something that really resonates with people.
You and I interact a lot on social media, and I always love bringing up how impactful and how powerful your messaging is, and especially taking the thing that inspires you so much and turning it into the foundation of your program. It just blows my mind. It just blows my mind. So a question I have for you is, and let's think back 14 months to when we first met. I remember our very first conversation. What was it that piqued your interest, that got you interested in even having a conversation with me?
Well, if you remember how it started, I couldn't reach you because I didn't know you didn't use email. You only responded, right? You're on social media, and I remember everybody's like, you got to meet this guy. This guy's phenomenal. You've got to meet Chris. And I'm like, I want to meet Chris. And when we connected, you're right. I mean, I think you and I hit it off in our first conversation. And what really, quite frankly, got me in that first call, one, not only is it your reputation precedes you. And I kept hearing, you've got to talk to Chris, you've got to talk to Chris, which had me pumped for the conversation. But as you and I had our first call, it was the clarity that you brought to the conversation of where I was and where I needed to go and what the steps were to get there. And you were crystal clear on how to connect those dots. And Cicely, this is where this is going to lead you. And as I've told you before, and I'll tell anybody who sees this video or anybody that I interact with, how you connected those dots has not only changed my business, but it's changed my life. Amazing. And I don't think you and I knew where we were going 14 months ago in that first conversation, but I could not be more grateful that clarity you provided has absolutely come true.
We knew we were going somewhere. We didn't know how fast.
That's right.
We didn't know how fast everything was just going to fall into place. That's absolutely beautiful. What was it after that conversation? Because you were, you decided to work with me on the very first call. It wasn't a, let's talk again next week. What was it that just tipped you and said, okay, let's go?
You know what? It was, quite frankly, two things. One, as you now know about me, I'm very impatient for results. So when I said yes and let's jump in, you were like, let's jump in. And we immediately started scheduling calls, and we had our cadence and our frequency of conversation and really taking me through your program and the steps. So one, it was my impatience for results matched your energy for delivering, I think, the results that I was seeking. And so I, blown away right there on the first call. The other piece, though, I think, is the inspiration that you bring to your clients. On that first call, I could tell, Chris, and I know I've heard you say this before, but on that very first call, I could tell you were 100% bought into my success. And I think you said to me, Cicely, your success is my success. And that really resonated with me, and it's actually something I've quoted, used your quote, many times since. And so you're bought into your clients. And I love that you're all in to making sure we get to where we want to go and what, how we want to succeed. So, it was a no-brainer for me to say yes, absolutely, on the spot.
Thank you so very much. If you could describe what it's like and not necessarily to work with me, but to be a part of this thing that we've built. We've got the training and the community and the coaching. What is it like to be a part of this?
I could give you 20 words, I guess, of what it's like. The one I will say, it is a success rocket ship. Wow. The minute you jump in, you're taking off. Because you do have a community of people who we all support each other. And I love that it's growing and meeting all these people in our coaching calls, but it is the training. Each week, each module builds on the other, and you see progress. It's not like you're taking a program. It's not one size fits all. It's very tailored to each individual client that you coach. And we all can see the progress we're making even after the very first training we go through. And that rocket ship just continues to go up because everything, each week, each course, each module builds on each other. So you're seeing immediate results. So for me, that rocket ship took off very quickly because I couldn't go fast enough and consume it fast enough and do it fast enough. But it is a trajectory that for me, that's just continuing to skyrocket up. Starting with organic client attractions and now being growth galvanized, your sort of a more advanced program, I just feel like, I'm continuing to take off each week and just getting the skills I need to continue to, build my business. But more importantly, I love that I get to serve people in a very unique way. And I am just having a blast with each life I get to impact. Hearing people's stories and being with them on their journey. I now understand why you do this now that I'm in this spot and I get to do the same thing.
So let's talk about that just for a quick second, and let's get on the rocket ship and go past all the stops. And without modesty, because you deserve the recognition, let's talk about all the things that have come your way, all of these transformations. I'm happy to say, and you can expound on this, but the podcast, the books, the TED Talks, the new program. Take us through these things.
Sure. Well, honestly, it all started after you and I started working together, and the book has now come out. And let me just take it back for a second. I just want to give context here because you and I started working on an online course, if you remember correctly, and you walked me through how to put together an online course, the content, how to really walk through that. Well, when I got the outreach, email from Forbes about, hey, have you thought about writing a book? I said, sure. And on that initial call, they said to me, well, do you have an outline? I didn't have an outline. I had the outline you helped me write for the course. And I gave that to them, and they were like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. This is 82 pages of a book right here in this outline. And it was what you and I had worked on in terms of building the course. So, which is why I give all credit in the book to you and acknowledge your amazing work. But you're right. There's a book coming out from Forbes. It's out now for pre-order, available March 22nd. Podcast. We almost into year 1 of the podcast. There are TED Talks. Got my first speaking engagement in Italy coming up later this year, being asked to speak to an international audience, and the coaching program where we're really coaching individuals on how to pull up their chair to that table. So it's all just evolved in the 14 months that we've been working together. So it's happened fast, but it's been an amazing ride so far.
I often joke around and I say that, you climb on the rocket ship and put your foot on the gas pedal and press down. And then you and I kind of joke together about, you and I are sitting next to each other with a competition about who's going to press on that gas pedal harder so that we can go even farther, faster, because you and I are kind of cut from the same cloth like that. So incredible results, incredible progression in what you're doing. People are going to be watching this as they evaluate working with me, coming into the program. If you could just say something to them as they're watching this, what would it be?
I would say stop being timid, because I sat in the same spot that anyone watching this video is sitting in. Do I do it? I don't know. How do I grow? Stop being timid. When you see Chris's content online, when you see his videos, reach out to him immediately, because that's when the rocket ship is going to start. And I'm going to say it again because I can say it 20 times and it's true 20 and 25 more. Working with Chris changed my business and my life. Now I have a national platform, author, speaker. I had none of this 14 months ago until I started working with you, Chris. And so stop being timid, guys. Get off the dime. And when you want to work with Chris, reach out to him right now. I guarantee you it'll be the best business decision you've ever made, hands down.
I was going to ask you to describe what it's like to work with me in just a few words, but I think you just did. And for clarity for everyone watching this, you did the work. All I did was put words together and say, Cicely, go do this. And you're the one that actually did all the work. So you get the credit for this success. So.
Well, but it's the partnership, right? I mean, I can do the work, but I don't know what I'm doing unless, I really understand your methodology and, your the words you have put together and how you sort of, bring your courses. So what really, Chris, I value your friendship now, but your partnership is also what brings that work into fruition.
I love it. Just as a quick aside, I love how you and I do have that partnership where it's like it could be any day of the week, any time of the day, and you got a question or I got something I want to run by you, and it's just like that. Those messages. Now that we figured out, I don't check email. I only work through Messenger. But we get those messages, and it's just like information. Request information, and we just that's one of my favorite parts of my job is having you to do that with. Cicely, what's the name of the book so people can search for this thing?
The name of the book is Pull Up Your Chair, 5 Strategies That Will Change the Trajectory of Your Career.
Incredible. And they can find this where?
Amazon, Barnes & Noble, are where the links are right now for pre-orders, and then eventually it'll be in bookstores around the country.
And I'll include a link for the book near this video, and I will also include a link for your mastermind, that incredible mastermind that you have where you're helping hundreds of people step into their leadership. So people can get a hold of you and learn more about that and participate in that. Cicely, you're incredible. Let's keep going on this rocket ship. Let's see.
Let's keep going. I'm ready. I'm ready to, keep riding the rocket through 2022 and well beyond. So let's do it.
Thank you so much for your time today. I'm so very, very grateful for you.
Grateful for you as well. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks so much.